Hey, what's up everyone? Back here with another comic book review. Vintage comic book review time. This is the Uncanny X-Men issue 207. This is a comic that came out in 1986, and I'm pretty sure it's already been reviewed a bazillion times. It's been reviewed to hell and back, but you know what? I just got it and I just read it, so now it's my turn. There's really not much to talk about here. This will be a short review, I promise this time, because it was just good. If you can find it, go get it. I found this in my local comic shop for $8. And you know, it's in pretty good shape for $8. I like it, and the only significance I can find about it is that it's just a great comic. You know, I don't think there's. Let me know in the comments if you know if there's any more significance of this issue to merit that kind of a price tag, other than it just being incredibly well written and having great John Romita Jr. art. And you know what? It was still well worth it. So. Chris Claremont, great writer, great long stint of X-Men. We all know him, we all love him. And you know, I really don't have a whole hell of a lot of old X-Men comics because when you find them, it's like $8 or more. But I read them when I can, because I get them when I can. I don't have very long runs. I don't have a whole ton of them. But every time I read a old Chris Claremont X-Men comic, I like it. He's just that good. Even his bad comics, even his boring storylines were still good. Now this is around the time, I believe, when John Romita Jr. started on his very well-received X-Men run. And I gotta say, like, I've never loved him more than I do now. This was great, fantastic John Romita Jr. art. I'm very critical of him now. He's a bit of an acquired taste, but his art is so clean in here. I was very surprised. I was like, wow, look how good he used to be back in the mid-'80s. Really iconic Wolverine cover. In fact, that could add to a lot of this issue's values, that this is a very iconic image of just Wolverine in his cool brown costume, slashing the cover right there. It's just really cool. As for the story, Chris Claremont, once again, writes great. I'm just going to brush over it really quick. Pretty much Rachel Summers, who is Cyclops and Jean Grey's daughter from the future, from the Days of Future Past timeline. She's in the prison now. She's got the Phoenix power, and she's haunted by these nightmares of Wolverine coming to kill her, hunting her down, and she's reflecting on her life, her choices that she made, and whether or not she deserves to be happy. When she has these lines on her face, that's her hound look, or her hound face or something. Back when she was, before she was a good guy, in the future, she was working for the bad guys and helping them hunt her kind, other mutants. And she feels a lot of guilt about that. She says here, "Was my life with the X-Men a dream, a fantasy I created to escape a reality that had become too terrible to bear? No, it has to be true. It has to. Without that second chance, I can never make up for the awful things I've done." So I'm like, wow, really good depth, really good character development here on Chris Claremont, even for someone coming in totally vanilla. I did not read the preceding issues leading up to this, but I'm already feeling incredibly invested. Expert writing. Of course, Wolverine grabs her by the hair and pulls her over this brick wall, and then kills her. She wakes up from the nightmare, sees her hound face in the mirror and shatters it, and that prompts Colossus and Shadowcat coming in, preparing for battle. Colossus is already armored up. I think it's funny that he politely comes through the door and Shadowcat just walks through the wall. But they're all kind of mad at her. Shadowcat is making these comments about how it's like, well, you know, hey, we're right now the mansion's all destroyed, so we're staying here in the sewers with the Morlocks. They're not going to appreciate you shattering the mirror. She says sorry, it was an accident. She goes like, well, sometimes, Rachel, being sorry isn't enough, and a person with your powers can't afford accidents. As soon as she leaves, very realistically, Rachel goes, who does she think she is talking to me that way? But then she goes, except she's right. When I lose control of myself, I can do untold harm. I don't mean to, but I can't help myself. And tries putting it back together. Really good art. It just freaking her out even more. Wolverine is, his healing factor isn't working too good. Apparently, from what I gather, preceding this, in order to power him up and fight some cosmic character and Deathstrike too, I believe. She took control of all the X-Men's life essence or something, or powered up Wolverine or something, and it kind of whacked out his healing factor. So everyone's kind of mad at her for taking control of everyone's life force, pretty much without permission. Let's see, Nightcrawler says it right here. We always believed Wolverine's mutant healing power could cope with any wound, but his battle with Deathstrike, coming on top of the X-Men's struggle against the Beyonder, may prove us wrong. Okay, so apparently he fought the Beyonder. That's pretty crazy. And then over here, Rachel is now dressing like how superheroes dressed in 1986. I mean, just look at Rogue. And Rachel says, "How's Wolverine?" to Storm, and she just goes, "He lives." And without another word, Storm turns her back on Rachel. And that's when Rachel she's had it, and she's like, "Hey, all of you are treating me like crap. I tried to do what was right." And I really love John Romita Jr.'s art right here. Really good detail on the facial expressions of just adding a little lines here in between the eyes, getting this annoyed, kind of RBF face on Rogue right there. And I was like, wow, that's really good stuff. It's that kind of stuff that some artists struggle their entire careers trying to nail those little things that convey so much emotion in the facial features. And then get another dream sequence. They're in Japan, so that implies that because she has some sort of mental link with Wolverine currently, that they're even pulling from his memories. Dressed in a kimono, even she's falling on the stairs, but then it changes to a rooftop. Adding to the confusion, Wolverine slices her with his adamantine claws once again, and she wakes up in the alley. So things are just freaky. She doesn't know what's going on. She kind of reflects on how the X-Men, stupid, complacent humans. How often have the X-Men saved your pathetic lives, saved the world, the entire universe, yet you're still scared of us? And so she's just kind of thinking, walking. Another dream sequence. She's starting to be frustrated how this isn't fair. Why can't I sleep in peace? Clawing away at her hound face, and then starts pulling away her skin. And then she's like, she looks like this, very pretty, happy-looking girl. And she says, "This is the Rachel Summers that might have been. Is this my second chance? I can start over, begin again?" Then there's Wolverine once again. I love this panel. Her face in the background here. Wolverine's lunging at her for another killing blow, and then she just blasts him away. No dialogue, it's just, that's all you need to see. And it's very reminiscent of the famous Days of Future Past cover of Wolverine getting blasted by the Sentinel. And now she wakes up in a subway. This cop here tries to help her. I couldn't tell if he was being creepy or not, but he seemed like, I think he was generally concerned. But she freaks out and runs away anyway. Something about some other guy that tried to help her in the past and was killed by Selene. Selene is Jean Grey's replacement as the Black Queen in the Hellfire Club, and apparently she has it out for Rachel and wants to kill her or something like that. And that's when the X-Men realize that Rachel is gone, and they go after her to find her. Rachel decides, I'm going to kill Selene. This is all her fault. She's the one who, started this path of destruction. And she infiltrates a member of the Hellfire Club and says that you're going to take me to Selene. Then turn the page. Mind controls the man. She's a telepath, by the way. Mind controls the dude to just allow them to walk right into the Hellfire Club, and then telepathically conks them out. Then she disguises herself as a maid or something, and goes into Selene's room. She's totally going to kill her in her sleep, but her rage is taking over. She's got the Phoenix inside of her, so she's incredibly powerful and incredibly volatile. So right here you get some really fantastic art and of her going full Phoenix. Wakes up Selene, tries to use her powers, but she's no match for the Phoenix. Pretty much blah blah blah. Yeah, right here, you lose, Selene. She's about to kill her until then none other than Wolverine. He was. I like this bit where everyone's freaking out and panicking because the Phoenix is totally fighting someone upstairs, but then you see a figure walking up the stairs while everyone else is leaving. It's like they don't even notice him. So even though Wolverine's incredibly wounded, he found the strength to come over here. Probably found her thanks to his telepathic link with her. And I really love that shot. Great pose right there. And freaks out Rachel. She doesn't know if this is a dream. She doesn't know if Selene is manipulating her mind because Rachel really wants to kill Selene. And Wolverine's just trying to relate to her. telling her that she's not the judge, jury, and executioner, and Rachel says, "Bold talk, little man." It's weird that Wolverine's a short guy in the comics. From a natural killer. He says, "That's right, that's something we have in common. We've both killed. Odds are we'll kill again. But this, Rachel, this is murder." Really good facial expression, really good detail in the line work. And basically he's trying to relate to her. She says Phoenix makes her own rules, and he says, "This is your last warning. I won't ask again. Come away, Rachel, please." She says, "And know that people will die because because I did. I know enough ghosts. There are too many ghosts. I won't allow any more. The only way to stop me, Logan, is to kill me." Things are getting more intense as they get even closer, and then it ends on this snicked. We know what that means. That means his claws came out. And I was like, whoa. Well, I gotta find the next issue now. I really want to know how this ended up. Did Wolverine stab Rachel? What did he do? I don't know. I gotta find out. Really good ending. The 3 endings that I mentioned in this comic, I believe, was that any other writer today would have probably ended it right here when Wolverine was waking up the first time from his dream and then passed out from the strain. So right there, it's like that would be like a 20-page story stretched out in a modern X-Men comic, because writers take forever these days. Ending number 2 would probably be right here, of Rachel going to this Hellfire Club member and saying that she's gonna go to Selene, and we all know what her intentions are, which is murder. Right there, that's where a writer would end it too. But no, Chris Claremont kept going. He packed this comic with so much story. Then ending number 3 is the ending we got. So this was a very full comic. This was just one random issue of Uncanny X-Men I thought looked cool. I was like, hey, this is a pretty cool Wolverine cover. I picked it up and I was blown away. It also got me to care about Rachel Summers. You know, it's not that I didn't like her before, but now I like her. This comic made me really, it really humanized her. She was written with a lot of humanity in this comic. I really care for her as a character now, and I really want to know how this all ends up. This is a fantastic comic, and I gotta say, the art blew me away. Now, I've seen some of John Romita Jr.'s old work, I think in the late 80s, maybe the 90s, when Ann Nocenti was still writing Daredevil. I bought one of those issues because Daredevil was fighting Ultron. Ultron was on the cover, and John Romita Jr. was doing the art in the cover, and I did not like it. I did not like John Romita Jr.'s art. I remember not liking it so much, I think I gave the comic away. And I was thinking, like, man, was John Romita Jr. ever good? Because I really don't like him now. His work is very basic looking now. There's not a whole lot of detail, and it's kind of weird looking. But then I read this, and I was like, wow, this was so good. He was such a good artist on his X-Men days back in the mid-'80s. So I'm really into... So now I know that John Romita Jr. used to be a fantastic artist. I like him. Thank you for watching this video. Comment below. Tell me what you think of this comic. Tell me what you think of John Romita Jr.'s art. Sorry if I was a little harsh on him, but you know, this comic actually made me a fan of him. So you know, I think that's pretty great. This is a great comic. Sometimes it's comics like these that makes me think maybe I should just review vintage comics. Just read all the good old stuff and just review those. There are a lot of times they're just so much better than the stuff that they publish now. It's insane. Comment below, tell me what you think. Do you want me to review more vintage comics? Are you a big old X-Men nut bar and you just want to see more X-Men? Comment below, let me know, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss my next review. Thanks for watching. Bye.